Alright guys, it's Motivational Mondays, and this week the theme is the power of belief. So, I'm in Vegas with a group of friends, and we have a table, and by our table is the bar, and there's this really tall, voluptuous blonde woman at the bar. So I go over, I start talking to her, and we're getting along, and she goes, "Tony, who's in charge of this whole thing?" And she sees that I'm with this big group, and I said, "You see that guy right there? We'll call him Brad." I said, "That's Brad's the man. He's in charge." And so I bring this girl over, and we'll call her Blondie. I said, "Blondie, this is Brad. Brad, this is Blondie." And I said, I wanted to blow my boy up, make him have, high value with the woman. I said, "This is the man. He's in charge." And I said, "I'll leave you two alone." I like to pick my friends up. So right away, Brad goes to work. He just starts talking to her. He pours her a drink, and he's, really aggressive. They're talking. They start kissing, and like almost immediately he leaves. He takes her to the room, and he has sex with her. So, which is great. So the next day, I see him. We had this amazing suite. I see him the next day, and he comes up to me. He goes, "Tony, how much do I owe you?" And I said, "Owe me? What do you mean?" And he goes, "How much do I owe you?" Sorry, they're filming, doing stuff in the background. He goes, "Tony, how much do I owe you?" And I said, "Owe me? What do you mean?" And he's like, "How much do I owe you for the girl?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm kind of confused. And he goes, "Yeah, she was a hooker, right?" And I go, "No, she wasn't a hooker." He goes, and his face gets all like pale, and I said, what's the matter? Did you offer her money?" And he goes, "She wasn't a hooker?" And I said, "No, she was just a girl." And he goes, "I wouldn't have done any of that stuff that I did with her, or said anything I said to her, if she wasn't if I hadn't known she wasn't a hooker." He's like, "I thought she was a hooker and you had already given her money. That's why I was so aggressive with her. I thought it was a sure thing." So I told him, I said, "Hey, that's what you should do with every woman then. Assume it's a sure thing, be aggressive, go for it." So believe in yourself. If he had believed in himself, he could have, who knows how many women he could have had up until that point. And that was the pivotal moment in his life where things shifted for him. So this week, believe in yourself, assume it's going to go great, and we'll be back next week with another story.